Hello, welcome back to the podcast. Today we are going to be talking about resilience and how resilience is frustrating and it doesn't feel as easy as it should be. And oftentimes you don't even have resilience until after you've experienced a challenge or disappointment, and that's okay. So if you're a mother of a teenager who is going through a tough phase, or maybe you're just a parent who's going through a tough phase yourself, don't worry, that's just building resilience. And Courtney and I are going to help you make sense of all of that. So let's dive in. Courtney has some nuggets that she's like, no, I'm not going to share them with you. I'm just going to surprise you live, which is what I do to her all the time. And so I don't even know what's coming next, but
Stay tuned.
I know it's going to be awesome. So here's part of the reason that we're talking about this. I have several teen clients right now, and anyone, if this is your first time, I believe I am the only life coach that proactively works with both parents and teenagers. So at any given time, I have a bunch of parenting clients, I have a bunch of teenage clients, and currently I have a bunch of teenage clients that are struggling. And I have parents that email me and say, hey, we paid for coaching and my teen is still struggling. What the crap? Actually, they don't say it like that, but they're like, your coaching is great, it's helping, and yet my daughter is still struggling with this, or my son is still struggling with this. I thought it'd be appropriate that we talk about resilience and we frame it in a way to help you understand that you actually want your teenager to struggle. You want your teen to go through some hard, disappointing, frustrating things because that is actually how resilience is built. So, Courtney, what's one of the secret gold nuggets that you would like to talk about when it comes to resilience?
Resilience for kids is something that I have struggled with because I don't like to see my kids struggle or be upset or uncomfortable. But I know we talked a few months ago about my 9-year-old and I was worried about him, and you really talked to me through this. Like, this is going to help him build resilience. And as hard as it is to let him go through that, you're absolutely right. So I feel like we as parents come to the rescue too quickly and not allow our children to feel that uncomfortableness and get to the other side to build resilience. Because resilience is getting to the other side, like falling down, but getting back up. That's what creates resilience. And I feel like our kid is uncomfortable and we lift them up by their armpits and we help them up. Like, we don't let them figure it out on their own.
Yeah. Or sometimes even worse, we're like, look, mommy will fix this for you. You just sit down right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, I just had my 10-year-old. How old is your youngest?
Jazzy's 7.
7. Gotcha. Okay. So my youngest is 10. Anyways, he helps me coach football all the time. Like, goes to morning weights with me, goes to almost all the practices, went to our parent meeting. I'm like, dude, you don't have to. He's like, I'm one of the coaches. Whatever. And the coach is like, okay, all the players are going to get a player pack. It'll cost $150. And on the way home, he's like, Dad, I want a player pack. I'm like, okay, well, how much are they? He's like, $150. Okay, what are you going to do to come up with $150? And he had all these ideas. Like, well, I'll take care of the neighbors' pets when they go out of town. I'll mow the lawn. We have a really big yard and we have a riding lawnmower. So mowing the lawn isn't that hard. Plus, it's like Deb's favorite thing to do. Like, I remember going to church one week and Deb was like 9 months pregnant. And someone's like, I saw your wife out there mowing the lawn. You must be a terrible husband. I'm like, she loves it. I can't take that from her. But anyways, so my 10-year-old is like, yeah, I want to make money to buy this player pack. I'm not telling him, by the way, that our head coach is like, oh, he doesn't need to pay for it. I'll just get him one. But I want him to earn the money. I want him to be able to pay for it. And then I want to surprise him. Like, look, you don't even have to pay for it. Now you have $150 that you can do something else with. Anyways, we have this patch of land that has a weed barrier, which is nice, but weeds can still, like a seed can land on the weed barrier, go down through it, and still grow. Anyways, and it also has gravel. And I'm like, that has been neglected. I will pay you $20 to weed that whole thing. And at $20 to a 10-year-old, he's like, oh, yeah, that's a lot of money. I'll do it. Well, there's a reason I'm paying him $20. It's also going to be hard. It's a pretty big area. There's a lot of weeds. And I'm like, look, do this big area all at once. You get $20, and then I'll pay you $3 to $4 a week to maintain it. After about 10 minutes, he's like, yeah, I don't want to earn my money that way. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like, here's the thing. I want you to learn how to work hard. That's going to be your chore, whether you like it or not. And you can get paid, or you can just not have privileges if you choose not to do that. And he's like, Dad, I want to make money. I just don't want to do it the hard way. And I'm like, well, what other ways do you got? You're a 10-year-old kid. And just watching him, like, he's struggling. There are daddy long legs out there. And he is convinced that these daddy long legs are going to kill him.
Well, they will. He's not wrong.
And like, it's a little bit hard. Honestly, if I went out there, I could probably have that whole thing weeded in about half an hour. And this dude is probably, when you add up all the times that he goes out and actually does it, it's probably going to take 4 hours to do it. Like, I don't even know. But I want him to struggle. I want him to have to figure that out. I want him to experience a level of boredom. I want him to experience some displeasure, some dissatisfaction. Resilience is kind of what comes at the end of that. Like, oh, look, I did that. It was hard. If I can do that, I can do other hard things.
Well, how many things in life as you grow up and you're an adult do you have to do that you don't want to do that are hard? Like allowing them to figure it out that they can get through it now is amazing.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where we've talked about anxiety before is but when we always come to the rescue and our kids feel something uncomfortable, they get anxious. Like we have to let them struggle, but also let them know that they're supported, like that they'll get through this. You know, we're not abandoning you, but you can do it. We have to give them the confidence that they can do it,
Yeah.
that we believe that they can do it.
Yeah. I have a young lady that I'm working with. She's a really good soccer player and just, I think she's a freshman. I can't remember. Anyways, like she's getting varsity time and the varsity coach is asking her to play a different position. And the mom's like, she's not as good at that position. She's struggling. And I'm like, good, let her struggle. Like being a longtime football coach and being around sports, some of the best athletes are the best athletes because of how stubborn they are. And in the face of struggle, they don't give up. And they're like, I'm just going to keep working at this. And this young lady who's the good soccer player, like really helping her manage her mind around the struggle, around the nervousness. She's like, some of the older girls don't like me because I'm so young and I'm taking away their playing time. And I'm like, yeah, you can't control how they think and how they feel. Manage what's within your control. And the reason we're talking about this today is to really understand that even with coaching, your teen can still struggle. In fact, I would say like it's not going to eliminate the struggles, but it might help them get through some lower level challenges and move on to the next level. There's a young man that I'm working with right now. He's kind of the opposite. He's a senior, he's graduating, and he's doing track. And I coached him in football, I'm coaching him in track, and he has dealt with some struggles. Like, I don't even think they won a football game. Like, they're not very good. He's doing track. He rolled his ankle really badly. He's like, I had the best throw of the season, but I scratched because I rolled my ankle and I accidentally crossed the line. The thing to keep in mind, if you're a parent listening to this, coaching is not going to eliminate struggles. And that's good because if we eliminated struggles, your teen would have zero resilience. Let's look at this from a slightly different angle. Courtney, is there anything in your life that you're struggling with right now besides your annoying podcast co-host?
Yeah, that I've accepted that's always going to be a struggle. I mean, I feel like I have a lot of the struggles that a lot of parents deal with, just like the daily teenage like wants nothing to do with me. I'm struggling with my son's volleyball team, and not him necessarily because he's playing. He starts, and he starts above seniors. Just watching what's happening to all the other boys and seeing how hard it is for them, and watching them feel defeated or deflated. There's one mom that's really has really struggled with it, and I've supported her in that because I empathize. But at one point, I was like, "We are very emotional. Let him navigate this without, the mom emotions. Like he will get through it. Like your son is a super smart kid. He's a great kid. Like just allow him to go on this path, and he'll be okay. It'll teach him to be more. I did say more resilient,
Like,
but yeah."
let him process his own emotions. Don't let him
Hmm.
process yours too. Like,
Yeah.
it's,
He did tell her, he's like, "Mom, you're stressing me out." And that's when I was like, all right, maybe just let him, navigate this because it's hard. It's hard to watch him be sad. I get it.
yeah. Well, a lot of parents, I feel like, think that resilience means my teen has life figured out and they're now done struggling. And the difference in what I believe about resilience is that resilience is almost like this muscle that has to be exercised, has to be
Hmm.
worked out. And the tough, hard moments, how you handle those, that is you being resilient. So, Courtney, when you tell me, yeah, I'm struggling with the same stuff that parents all over the world are struggling with,
Hmm.
you are in the act of being resilient. And I think sometimes a lot of parents, we buy into this old idea that you either have resilience or you don't. And I hear this all the time. They're like, oh, teens today, they're just not resilient. They don't have it. And I'm like, no, like human beings, it's like we all have a brain. It's just how many of us choose not to use it, especially with Chat GPT nowadays. We
Hmm.
all have resilience, but how many of us are choosing not to use it? And to make matters worse, how many parents are taking away their teens' opportunities to flex that muscle and practice that skill?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of us do. It's hard to see your kid uncomfortable.
Yeah. So let's talk about when it comes to resilience. And I love the conversation that you had with one of your son's teammates' moms. Like, just let him go through that. A lot of parents really struggle with that. They're like, what? I'm supposed to let my kids struggle? Like, no, that's not what good parents do. Good parents swoop in and save them. What are some ways that parents could look at this to feel better about letting their kids struggle?
One thing that's helped me is knowing that they will get through this, and learning earlier on will make it easier for them when they're older. I feel like our challenges only get harder as we get older. I'm not sure how they could look at it to make it easier for them. Just finding comfort in knowing that it's something that's going to help them in the long run. We need to let them struggle.
Yeah. I had a conversation with a bunch of eighth graders the other day, which is really easy for me to sound profound when I'm talking to eighth graders, but
Uh-huh.
I'm lifting weights with our next year's freshman football team. And there's a few kids that were just really disappointed. They've never lifted weights before. And the first time you start lifting weights, like your body is strong enough to do more than you can actually do. But you don't have the technique down and your muscles aren't firing at the right time. And it just is hard. And I was talking to some of these kids and I'm like, look, lifting weights, here's the thing, it never gets easier. An argument could be made that it only gets harder because as you get stronger, you're just going to push yourself even harder. You're going to lift heavier weights. You're going to do more reps. You're going to, like, whatever it is. And I talk to these young men. I'm like, part of what we're doing isn't like, it's not only about getting stronger, it's about building your capacity to do hard things. And right now, some of you guys don't have much capacity. Like I watch you do one set and you're like, "Oh, I'm sore. I'm going to take a break." And you don't have the capacity that you're going to need if you want to be a good football player. And
Mm-hmm.
my job as your coach is to help guide you through this struggle, help you make sense of it. Like, no, it doesn't mean you're weak or you're not meant to be a football player. It just means you've got some more work to do. And I feel like a lot of times as parents, we don't come into it with that mindset. We haven't embraced the opportunities for resilience, which most people just call like trials, hardships, struggles, whatever. But we haven't really embraced it with a mentality of this is what my team needs to expand his capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest things that you can do as a parent is to really take that mindset into your parenting. Like, I let my kids figure crap out all the time. I'm like, yeah, like it would seem like I'm a bad parent because most other parents would be like, oh no, let me drop everything so I can come save your butt. And I'm like, yeah, that sucks. What you gonna do about it now?
Mm-hmm.
And like my son, he didn't get to play as much varsity time as we would have liked. And there's another kid who got more varsity time and he's not as good, but he does track. He's putting in a lot of work. He's doing all this other stuff. And that's one of the hard parts for me because I want my team to get more varsity time. I want them to do all the stuff. I want them to be in the weight room. I want them playing basketball all the time. But that's not my problem to figure out. That's his. I need to
Mm-hmm.
trust him and let him figure it out his way and trust that that is building his capacity. Because whatever he's struggling with today is exactly what he needs to expand his capacity so he can handle whatever's coming around the corner in like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah. Like, sorry, brain fart. I was thinking sometimes like criticism or rejection or failure or discomfort, we're challenged in those areas as we get older. So, using sports for an example, how you respond to those things while you're on the court is a big sign as to how resilient you are. If you can just keep your head up and keep going, like you have been through struggles, you've learned how to navigate that emotional uncomfortability. So real resilience is emotional endurance. Like if you can push through all those uncomfortable feelings.
Yeah. Ooh, was that one of your secret nuggets? Because that was,
It didn't come out right. It sounded really good when I said it to myself, but yeah.
oh, that was awesome. I love it.
That emotional endurance, that one.
Yeah, that's what
Yes.
resilience is. It's just
Yeah.
endurance. I so I recently went to a coach's clinic at a local college, and one of the guys was like, "Here's something weird that we're doing in recruiting." He's like, "We will talk to the mothers of these kids that we're recruiting. We'll find out who are your friends, and we'll talk to some of their friends." And he's like, "We have a few questions. Has this kid ever been dumped? How did he handle that? Like, what happened? Has there ever been a death in the family? How did he handle that? Has he ever had to work a job?" Like, they want to know, how are you handling these tough real life moments? Because that's a pretty good indicator as to how you'll handle it on the field. And one of the things that I think is important to bring up, and I say this at the risk of hurting some of y'all's feelings. If I hurt your feelings, I'm sorry. Reach out to me. I'll
Personal apology.
a personal apology. We'll hop on a Zoom call, and I will help you manage your own emotional. How did you put it again?
Emotional endurance.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, where I'm going with this is I think, and I think our current school system and even like some sports coaches, and I would even say even some life coaches and therapists, we are accidentally preventing our teenagers from developing their resilience. And part of the problem is that oftentimes, like, oh my goodness, this drives me nuts, by the way, when people label stress or anxiety as dangerous and this thing that should be avoided at all cost. When I coach football, the first question I ask right before our first game is I'm like, all right, dudes, how many of y'all are nervous? And these are big, tough football players, and not a single one of them will raise their hand. And then I ask them again, and I'm like, guys, be honest with me. How many of you are nervous? And I raise my hand. And then all the kids are like, oh, well, if coach is nervous, I can be nervous. And we just
Hmm.
talk about it. Like, guys, what does it mean to be nervous? Like, why are you nervous? And usually the kids will be like, I don't want to lose. Yeah, I don't either. The fact that you're nervous tells me that you care about the game.
I tell my children that all the time because I feel like my spouse, he never admits to being nervous. And so when Maxwell's nervous, I'm like, it's okay, buddy. It just means you care. It means you want to do good. It's okay to feel nervousness.
Yeah,
It's not a bad thing.
yeah. And I always tell my kids, like, look, I would rather have someone in the game who wants to win, who cares about the outcome, than someone who's like, I don't care. I'm just here
Yeah.
for whatever the snacks are that moms hand out after the game. And the thing is, like, there's a balance. Overly focus on winning. Like I tell my players this all the time. We can't control whether or not we win or lose. There are things that we can control that make it more likely we'll either win or lose. And we need to control those things. And so, like, I don't want them being overly nervous. I don't want them just focusing, like, oh, I hope we win. I hope we don't lose. I hope we win. I want them to understand, oh, I'm feeling nervous because I want to win. And that's a good thing. What's within my control that I need to focus on? Like, it's my job. And I feel like a lot of parents, a lot of a lot of life coaches are doing kids a disservice when they treat stress, anxiety, nervousness as if it's dangerous or as if it's something that needs to be removed. And the other thing I see a lot is we look at failure and we think, oh man, that's the end of the world. Like your teen's life should not look like a movie. Like when I have parents reach out to me and they're like, hey, you've done coaching and my kid isn't winning the games. Yeah, but how is he handling? How is he showing up? I coached one young man. He's actually a really good example. This is years ago. He was a big time wrestler. He was, there's this one kid in his region that he had never beaten, and he was a senior. He's like, I just can't get past this kid. I'm like, well, let's work on some of this. Let's do some envisioning. Well, then he beat the kid for the first time. He's like, oh my goodness, I can do this thing. And then they ended up like in the state bracket, he had to wrestle that kid again. He's like, man, I hope I can beat him. He beat him even worse. And it's just like this movie or this fairy tale. Like, oh, I beat the giant that I couldn't beat before, and then I beat him again. And he's just wrestling. He's doing amazing in the final round and takes second place. And he's like, what the crap? I thought I was supposed to win first. It's like, you're not living in a movie. Reality happens, and coaching isn't about guaranteeing the win. Coaching is about developing the resilience that, regardless of the outcome, you have the tools and the mental or emotional. Gosh, why can't I remember what you
Fortitude,
said?
endurance.
Yeah, to handle whatever the outcome is. Emotional endurance. I should just write that down.
Yeah. It's funny we're talking about you said something that made me think my best friend right now is going through something at her work and she's so stressed. Like she's like, I've never been this stressed. And so I just sent her an encouraging message this morning and I was like, I don't want you to be stressed. Focus on the things that you can control. Find comfort in knowing that you weren't in the wrong. And I said, in my life, some of the most, what felt like the most devastating situations have become some of my biggest blessings, and you'll get through it. Like,
Yeah.
I basically gave her a resilience talk. Like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. What will be, will be.
And
Just get through it. It's going to be uncomfortable.
yeah, and look at everything you've gotten through up to this point.
Hmm.
Like I feel like we get into a tough situation and we're like, oh no, don't know if I can handle it this time. It's like, look at all the other times you have.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. Let me give you just a different angle to look at this. I feel like really good sports coaches, they don't move resistance from their practices. Like they're intentionally ramping up the resistance, like making their players work hard. They're using this resistance to build strength, to build capacity. As a parent, that's your job, but in terms of parenting and your teenager, not coach and player. And so don't fall in the trap of being like, well, I need to make my life's or my child's life as easy as possible. I feel like that's one of the traps that I fall into. Like when I was a kid, we did not have money And when my parents were like, yeah, if you want new school clothes, like you're going to have to earn some money. You're going to have to help. My kids have never had to worry about that.
Hmm.
And so it's my job to be like, where am I removing all resistance and where can I help my kids experience some resistance to help them build their capacity? Because the truth is, even with AI and everything that we have, we don't have to talk about this today, but I think things are going to get harder in the future. I think we are going to have, as a species, a huge identity crisis because so much of our identity has been wrapped up in surviving and providing for our family and taking care of needs. And I think when we fully embrace where technology is, there's going to be jobs that we don't need to do anymore because we got machines and robots and AI. And we're going to lose our sense of identity. You're going to have dads that are like, well, now what am I good for? And we're going to have teenage boys that are like, well, I don't need to go break my back working hard. I don't need to go hunt and kill stuff for the herd. Like, what am I here for? And if we can help our kids manage the struggles that they have in their life and truly embrace the identity of being resilient, they will be very well positioned to handle whatever the future throws at them.
Yeah. Kids today have a lot fewer like micro struggles. Like if you think about our childhood, quite a while ago, like kids nowadays have constant entertainment. They're never bored, right? And I feel like sometimes when they're bored, they're given something to make them not bored. Just little things like that. My sister was telling me a story recently where in first grade, actually, she told my children, and I was there. In first grade, she was responsible for getting herself up, getting ready for school, and getting to that bus. She's like, I would even curl my hair. Can you imagine letting your first grader get themselves up, get ready for school, and get to the bus? Like, I can't even fathom that. But that's the kind of things we had to do as kids and growing up,
Yeah.
you know?
So if you're the type of parent and you're wondering, what can I do to help my teen be more resilient? Here's what I would say. Trust your teen's reality. They have struggles. They're going to get dumped by a boyfriend or a girlfriend. They're going to have a teacher that they don't like. One of my clients has a coach that she just couldn't stand. Like, I don't know. I haven't coached the coach. I wish I could, but I don't know. It seems like it'd be really hard. Trust me, your teenagers are going to struggle. And the next time that happens, I want you to have a little bit of awareness. Catch your teen in the struggle and really explore, who do I want to be as a parent? How do I want to empower my teenager as they go through this? And what are some things that I need to avoid so I don't just take over and make their life too easy?
Yeah, great. Yeah, our job isn't to make sure that our kids never fail. It's to help them believe that they can get back up.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Courtney, anything else you want to add before we turn the people loose?
Let them go.
All right, we're going to let you go, but be on your best behavior. Okay, we'll be back next week. Just keep on being the best parent that you can be. Keep on, what'd you say? Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
All right, guys, talk to you soon.